Hey everybody, what is up? What is good? My name is Renee. I'm an author and writer, so make sure you go check out my book, Makeup Only Looks Ugly When You Cry. Today, I'm gonna go ahead and get straight into the video because it's just better to get it out the way, okay? Dear Black people, leave the ratchetness at home. Y'all gonna fight me? I know y'all gonna fight me, but listen, leave the ratchetness at home. Now, before I get into this video, I'm gonna be real with you. A lot of the reasons why we do what we do sometimes is because of trauma that we don't want to address nor talk about. And this is stuff that has been going on for generations, right? Because your parents told you to sweep it under the rug. Their parents told them to sweep it under the rug. Their parents told them to sweep it under the rug. So it never got dealt with. And the elephant always stood there, crushing us slowly. So we tried to find outlets to be carefree or heal or just have a voice. And sometimes it led to self-destructive ways, right? So I want to make sure you guys understand that I understand that there's a nuance to everything. This is not a black or white type of issue, both literally and figuratively. So I want you to understand that this is not me bashing, but this is me speaking from a place of love and concern, because there's a bigger problem now, right? Which is not only the reality of our situation, but now the whole AI and the fact that if we continue to normalize these certain things, because it's cute now, it's funny now, it's not that big of a deal now because we have control, quote unquote. But what about when you no longer have control? Go look it up right now. There's videos, AI videos, realistic AI videos that they're making, okay, that are actually disturbing and even dangerous, because now the whole stereotyping of the Black American community is pretty much being made a mockery of, right? But it's not just being made a mockery of, but now it's also at a point now where it can be used as a tool. But see, we're not ready for that. And so, with that being said, again, this is coming from a place of love and concern. And I know that there's a lot of context behind why we do what we do, right? And I want to be honest too. This is not a cultural thing. A lot of the stuff that I see online is not culture. It's self-destruction. There's a difference. If you want to know about culture, go do your research. Go learn about Black American history. That's culture. What we're doing now is just following a propaganda and agenda blindly, thinking that we have a form of power and control, when really we're just walking right into our own trap, which is why the whole AI situation is dangerous. It's a trap. It can be used as a tool, even a weapon. But we don't want to have that conversation because that's just too deep. But it's true. It's real. Go look at it for yourselves, right? And I know we live in a generation where we don't take things serious. I, a lot of times, don't take things too serious. But when it comes to things being used against you after you've normalized it so long, that's when it becomes a serious issue. You guys think that the news is bad and how they portray the Black man, woman, and child. Well, what about AI? Because it's not the news, but it can again be used against us, right? So now you're trying to fight two demons at the same time: the reality and also the fiction of it all, too. Because AI is nothing but fiction. But what about when the fiction starts to look like reality? Ooh, I ate with that one. But I'm just saying, it's a real conversation that I feel like we need to have. And I can speak on this topic because I live in a well-to-do area. Look at my room. Shout out to mom and pops. Look at my room. This is a really nice room. I live in a nice area and in a nice neighborhood. So you would think, okay, well, nothing's wrong. But unfortunately, there's a lot wrong. And I witnessed this simply at school. I'm just going to use school as a example, right? Mind you, I live in an area where it's a lot of Black people here. It's heavily Black populated, or I sounded a little dumb saying that, but you guys know what I'm saying. Like, it's heavily populated with Black people, right? Black American people, some foreign people, people from the Caribbean, all kinds of Black people, right? But you have a lot of well-to-do Black people here, right? And so you would think, okay, that's good, because for a lot of other Black people, it's not so good, right? Talking about poverty, struggling, just trying to survive, things of that nature, right? So you would think, okay, well, sis, you're good, right? You're fine, you're good. Especially for the older generation, y'all definitely like, yeah, that's good. But unfortunately, it's not. Because of the music and the social media and the influence within my generation, you walk into my school and you would think we're in the hood somewhere. And I'm not even exaggerating. That's not meant to be derogatory or bad, but literally you would have thought like we're in the hood somewhere. Now, I'm not trying to associate children who come up from the hood with being bad or whatever, but you guys know what I'm trying to say, the types of behaviors that are normally stereotyped from being in the hood, right? A lot of that you see right here in the suburbs, and you're like, why? Even and I can actually say this because there's people who have actually come from the hood who come into the suburbs. They go to their school. I talk to them. They're like, yo, these YNs, bro. If you took them to where I'm from or to this area or that area, bro, they would not last. So I'm not even like I'm not just saying this for myself. I've literally heard other people who have actually come from those unfortunate situations whose parents or whoever they're living with have actually, done better for themselves, and they come into the suburbs and they go to these schools and they're watching their peers act in a way that's just like, yo, you're trying to be something that you're not. Because if I took you to where you trying to act like you from, you would not last. You think you would, but you really wouldn't. Because that type of lifestyle, we talking about people who are from those unfortunate situations, they don't even want to be in those situations. People in the hood actually want to get out. They want to get out, but they come to the suburbs and you got all these suburban YNs trying to act like they from the hood. Yo, what are you doing? That's backwards. Very, very, very backwards, actually. Right? And then when it comes to the young women, and this is, women don't like when we talk about this, but I just gotta say it because it's true. I'm just gonna say this. I see a lot of young women degrading themselves and devaluing themselves, mainly for male attention and mainly for the drama, because they're watching things like the baddies from Zeus Network, or they're watching their favorite influencer and their toxic life, or they're on the shade room, or they're listening to certain types of music. And honestly, it's a combination of all those things, and they think that real life is like how it is on social media, and baby, no, it's not. Because in real life there's actual consequences to your actions, right? But we've lost the sense of consequence and punishment and even real life because people are so attached to social media that they think that social media is the reality and reality is like social media. It's very distorted and very dangerous. And I remember just going to school and feeling so sad, like wow. And then for the young black, you know, gentlemen and ladies that are actually trying to do something for themselves, a lot of times they might get called lame. A lot of times they don't fit in. A lot of times they're kind of like pushed away. And it's sad because it's backwards. Everything that I'm seeing within my peer group in my community is just so backwards. It's really, really backwards. And I'm not going to say we're behind, because with all the technological advancements and with just how we do have opportunities that we didn't have even 50 years ago as Black American people in this country, we're not behind, but we're stagnant. That's how I feel. We're very, very stagnant. We're very, very stagnant. And I see the difference because I also work in an area that's predominantly YT. It's a mix of both Black and YT people, but just the mindset, even my own mindset, I realized like, wow, the way that we're raised, the way we're brought up, the way we're taught is so different. And there's a reason why. And so you might be asking me, well, what's the reason? I can give you one example just to prove a point. Generational wealth. Generational wealth, Sarnay, what are you talking about? A lot of my YT peer groups, right, and peers of my age, right, they're getting their education. A lot of the women are going to the healthcare field, becoming nurses, uh, things of that nature. A lot of times the men are, they're working these jobs, but they are getting into trade school or something of that nature, right? And so a lot of them are already starting to figure out what they want to do that's going to generate some type of money very quickly in a way that is Good, okay? And a lot of them, they're in long-term relationships, either getting ready to get engaged, already engaged, married, starting a family, or already have a family. There is no generational wealth without a family. You want to talk about old money and how people get old money and have old money? It's because their ancestors passed down that wealth to the now descendants. That's how generational wealth is created. But unfortunately, in the Black community, we're getting our education. There's a lot of young Black people doing well for themselves, and I'm really proud of us who are. But in terms of mindset, we are still in this hyper independent mindset, especially as women. And I understand why, but hear me out. We're in the keyword hyper independent mindset, right? We are still living within this baby mama, baby daddy culture. We're more focused on situationships, what the shade room got to say. We're worried about influencers, what's the next baddies episode, partying, hooking up, all this stuff that's just self-destruction. And we wonder why we're not generating generational wealth. I'm sorry for stuttering, but we wonder why. And yes, you can say the white man this, the white man that. Yes, there's a lot of systematic things that have caused us to be prevented from even doing that. Again, we can talk about the Section 8 and the crack epidemic and all of that really contribute to why we are in the state that we are in right now. So yes, there's a lot of historical and even relevant things that have taken place that have been used to set Black people back purposefully and intentionally. So I'm not here to dismiss any of that, right? But as we find out like why things are the way they are, why not change? Why not make a difference? And I know that sounds corny, but like, why are we settling for the tools that they're using against us? Like, do y'all not see the self-destruction? Do y'all not see how it's a slow burn happening? But again, it's fine until it's not fine. It's cool until it's not cool. Because especially, like I said, with AI being the way that it is now, it can become very dangerous, y'all. And it can be seriously used against us. Because we already normalize this as a whole. Within my generation, we're already normalizing these things. These horrible behaviors and mindsets. So when AI starts doing what it's doing now, then what? Because at that point, you don't have control. And again, like I said, at that point, you're trying to fight two demons at the same time. When you should have already gotten down to the first one, which is fixing this perverted and distorted reality that we have as a culture. Again, women, let me tell you something. Your most powerful asset is not your coochie. I mean, yes, you can give birth, you can give life. That is powerful. God gave us a womb for a reason. Yes, we have the ability to bring life through that. But your mind is the most powerful asset you have. Black men, your mind, your masculinity. Women, your femininity. Stop letting social media tell you otherwise. Stop letting social media tell you who you are and whose you are. Stop letting the media dictate what you can and can't do. Last time I checked, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I don't have to conform to the ways of the world. And this is not me trying to sound holier than thou. It is the fact that, first of all, I've always had a mind where I never want to conform. I do not believe in conforming. If I don't believe in something, I don't believe in it. If I do believe in something, I do believe in it, right? So, and this is past the whole Black fatigue or Rachetness or ghetto conversation. This has nothing to do with that. I've been this way, period. I do not like to conform, especially when I see the deeper or bigger issue to something that I know is either bad, ugly, or just destructive altogether, right? So I don't believe in conforming. Never will and never have. But you can do that with elegance, grace, maturity, intelligence, and wisdom. Doing what these people tell you to do, popping cooch, having baby daddies, baby mamas, slinging D, creating STDs. That's not, there's nothing empowering about that, and there's no change in that. You're just creating more problems. Having a hyper independent mindset is not going to do nothing. Chasing money all your life is not going to do nothing. Worried about the wrong thing, partying, clubbing is not going to do nothing. Wasting your youth away because you feel like, well, I'm young, I get to do whatever. No, this is not your this is not your home. There is an eternity that we all will go to, heaven or hell, right? So I've learned to live in a way that if I die today, I can say, God, I did everything I could to plant a seed for the people coming behind me. And it does take a form of selflessness to even do that. A lot of people are selfish, so they don't even care because it's about me, 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 I, what I want to do, YOLO. Okay, fine. I'm not going to be the one to tell you what to do because I am not God. But speaking from a place of just really wanting the best for me and those around me, I know that it takes a sacrifice to even do what I'm doing now. It takes a sacrifice to say, you know what, I'm not going to conform to the ways of the world. It's tempting. It's tempting to be wild and carefree in a way where, you know, you don't want to think about consequences, but there are consequences. This is a temporary home. Eventually I have to answer to somebody, and that somebody is going to be my Lord and Savior. That somebody is going to be God. I can't lie. I can't BS my way out. I can't make excuses. I can't do none of that. And given the fact that I care so much about my people, talking about the Black American community, I really want the best for us because I want to see us progress. We have everything we need to progress, but it's a mindset. And one last nugget I'm going to drop is there is no change without healing. So like I mentioned in the beginning, a lot of us, we do what we do because we're unhealed, we're hurt, we're broken. We were either fatherless for a lot of people, even motherless, or both. We have trauma. A lot of us had to survive, fight, do all these things. And we were able to function, but the hurt and the pain starts to seep out of us through our actions and decision making. Hurt people. So my encouragement for you today is heal, because without healing, there is no change. I'm going to close off by saying I love you guys. Comment down your thoughts. Peace and love to you guys as always, and I will see you guys in my next video.